What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, or 30 and Still Gaming. And on today's show, we're going to talk about loot boxes could be coming to Marvel Rivals. Oh, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, as a data miner finds evidence of multiple references to mysterious box logic. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Game Pass debate heats up for Xbox VP speaks out. Is this the same thing? You know what? I don't even know. Is this talking about Pete Hines? Yeah, Pete Hines is talking about that. We might have to pick up a different article because we talked about this a little bit. I guess we'll read about. We'll read it. We'll read it because I don't read these articles ahead of time, right? So I just see the news stories and then I pick them. Helldivers 2 leak reveals Star Wars inspired superweapon. So we'll talk about this as well. And then Xbox Cloud that goes vroom. We're going to talk about a new feature that's coming in selective cars for Xbox Play Anywhere. We'll talk about that. And if we have time, we're going to watch the games industry finally admits they are the problem. Legendary Drops has a video from 3 days ago. So we'll talk about that as well. Again, if we have time. All the links in the description down below. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, cover videos, have conversations, give you my thoughts and opinions. If you like the music ahead of the show, it is called Perk Up Press Play. You can download that, stream it on all major platforms. Those links are in the description down below. Those also help me out here. If you don't want to become a member, if you don't want to spend an actual dollar or whatever, you can just go stream that music, listen to it. Helps us out, and you can also download it or purchase it. So I appreciate it very much. We are making merch. We have merch down below, but you guys have been asking for certain things, so I am still designing that. Those are not happening. They are happening. It's just I'm trying to figure out what to do. So appreciate it very much. What's going on, guys? Morning, Eclipse, Travis, Altern, Jason, Roick, Water Bear, Big Mo. Good morning, Robert Jones. Good morning, Z. What's going on? Kylo. Good morning. All right, let's see. Rivals is coming to PlayStation 4 now. Yeah, they're going back. They're putting it on the old system. You know why? Because less people are not buying consoles. They're not buying brand new consoles. So like, we need to go where the players are. And on PlayStation side, there's 67 million people that own a PlayStation 5 yet, right? And on Xbox side, there's, I don't know, an additional 40 million. Right? Like half the people haven't come over to new consoles yet. So they have to go where the people are. All right, so let's start off with Marvel Rivals. Okay, let's start off with Marvel Rivals. I don't like this, right? I see the article. I see the title. I'm not liking this, right? I thought we were past this, right? I thought we were past this, chat. I thought the industry knew that loot boxes weren't a thing. Now they just changed it, right? Surprise mechanics is what EA called it. Loot boxes could be coming to Marvel Rivals as a data miner finds evidence of multiple references to mysterious box logic. And like always, players are divided. I don't know how people are divided on this. I don't understand how someone's like, yeah, I'm just going to roll. Like, if you like gambling, cool. You like gambling. But I just don't understand how people are like, yeah, I'm for this. I'm for this. Imagine earning something instead of mysteriously opening it up like a pack of baseball cards and stuff like that, right? But in your video game, okay? At least with baseball cards, basketball cards, lottery ticket, like there's, well, lottery ticket. But there's like physical things that you can keep afterwards. Like it's a card. You don't know what you're getting in the pack. You open up the pack, you're like, hey, I didn't like the cards I got, but I got 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 cards that I can give or trade or sell or do something for. With loot boxes, you can't sell any of this shit. So let's read on, right? Word on the street is that Marvel Rivals has planned for loot boxes after data miner uncover evidence of mysterious box logic while trawling through Season 4's files. There's no official confirmation yet, but the speculation is enough to divide players. I mean, if loot boxes are coming in, that's one thing you didn't have to copy from Overwatch. Just saying. Just saying. Loot boxes could be coming to Marvel Rivals at some point in the future. Rivals Info says on an X post, in Season 4, logic for mysterious player component was reintroduced. Mysterious is that the code name for loot boxes. Okay. Within this component, there is also multiple references of mysterious box logic, such as cosmic mysterious number and box open history change, which further confirms that it relates to the old loot box system. The image below shows that what it might have looked like when the logic was still in the game. All right, so let's look at this. So this is what it would have looked like. It says loot box could be coming to Marvel Rivals at some point in the future. In Season 4, logic from a series player component reintroduce. Okay, the code name for loot box is within the component. There's also multiple references of mysterious box logic, such as, so you go, you have treasure. Okay, you can unlock 10 of these or whatnot. Hopefully you can't purchase these. Hopefully these are things that you earn through the game in some way, shape, or form. Just saying. Okay, before we jump the gun. The general reaction seems to be divided into three camps. I'm in the I don't give a shit camp, meaning I don't give a shit to give you money for a thing that I may or may not get, right? I didn't like it in Overwatch. I didn't like it in any other game. I'm in that ballpark. Those who are happy to have loot boxes in Marvel Rivals say gambling in Marvel Rivals, we are all happy. I just don't get it. Those who don't care if it's free, but if it's paid, it'll be upset. And those who can't suppress the urge to yell about how Overwatch did it first, and there's a lot of the latter. I don't understand. Are those people like proud? They're like, yeah, but Overwatch did it first. All right, sit down, moron. Okay. Look, if it's in the game but it's free, again, if you can earn the things, like let's say, for every level up you get like a coin or some shit. I don't know. Okay. And then you get to open it and see if you get like a voice line or something like that. Cool. But if you pay for these, which you're going to pay for these, it's bad. Okay. It says I can't even be surprised at this point. It really has only a matter of time before Marvel Rivals decided to adopt loot boxes. Not even because that's what Overwatch 2 has, but because it can be a good idea for community engagement if done right. If Marvel Rivals loot boxes are free and earnable through the Battle Pass or by completing challenges, then that's fine. And I'll stand by that. If it's free and you earn it through the things, cool. But if you pay for it, now we're going down a slippery slope. Not even because that it says if Marvel Rivals loot boxes are free and earnable through the Battle Pass or completing challenges, then that's fine. But what I don't want to see is a system similar to Overwatch 1, where players could purchase bundles of loot boxes. Not only would be pretty scummy, seeing as they also could be free, but NetEase also has a moral obligations to its younger players not to package gambling in shiny gold boxes, especially considering the age rating for Marvel Rivals is PEGI 12. Okay, loot boxes could be dangerous tightrope to walk. NetEase doesn't play it safe. They only provide free earnable boxes, but also don't know if that would also make financial sense. Almost all the costumes and cosmetics in the game so far are shop purchases, with only 4 seasons worth of battle passes. Seems to be a few events to make use of the free loot boxes. There also could be entirely separate cosmetic tucked away waiting for loot boxes, but otherwise, I'm not sure how NetEase could justify packing free loot boxes with paid cosmetics. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It says, but also, they're also just in theory, there's no solid confirmation that the Marvel Rivals is even seriously entertaining the idea of loot boxes. Look, there might not be evidence of the confirmation, but this is confirmation enough for me. Okay? Confirmation enough for me, meaning that they created a box with a lock and key on there. Okay? They've created this box. So to say that they haven't confirmed it yet, this is enough confirmation for me. They paid an artist and they paid someone with the mechanics and coding to make a loot box inside the game. Now, this could be Photoshop. Cool, but I don't think it is. I think it's actually happening. And I think it's a bad thing to happen because how many different ways can I get it. It's a free-to-play game. Right? I get it. It's a free-to-play game. Okay? But how many different ways are you trying to milk someone? Right? You got the buy the skins straight up. Okay? You got different event. I don't even know. I would have to turn it on. Right? There's different events. There's the event that pops up. It's like, get this short little season pass for like $3. There's the cosmetics for $28. There's the cosmetic skins for $18. There's the battle pass for $10. There's that never ends, right? There's so many different ways. They keep throwing stuff in the game to get $5 here, $10 there, $16 there. Now that you're putting this in, if you're putting this in. This is a step too far. Okay, now you're going down the rabbit hole of Overwatch, and I don't think NetEase needs to do this. I don't. I think that what they're doing now, again, I don't see their data behind them. They're like, well, we only have a drop of 38% of people that are not playing the game anymore, and maybe the 80% or I'm sorry, the 70% of the people that left, they really want loot boxes. Like, huh? What are we talking about? The people that have stopped playing your game, they just stopped playing your game because they didn't have the cosmetic they don't want. They don't want the character, maybe. Maybe they're waiting for Gambit to come in. Maybe they're waiting for Rogue to come in. Maybe they're waiting for a different game mode. Maybe they're just tired of the ranked matches and stuff like that. They're not sitting and stop playing the game and going, you know what? I'm stopping playing Marvel Rivals until they bring loot boxes in. Like, what are we talking about? It's not happening. Okay? This is bad. This is bad. If they bring loot boxes into this, this is the first step of the end for Marvel Rivals. And you guys know where I stand with this. I said that this game will be here for at least 2.5, 3 years, okay, because they have the amount of characters bringing in, and they've done everything else correctly. They've constantly put new characters in each season, once a month, right? They're putting Daredevil in, they're putting Angel in, they're putting all of these characters in. They're going to have over 40 characters, way over 40 characters, right? They still have 4 more characters to put in. Daredevil, Angel, right, which is September, October, and then November, December. They have 2 more, right? And then it starts year 2 of Marvel Rivals. So, and they already have 24 characters in the pipeline. They don't need to do this. NetEase, you don't need to do this. You're going down a slippery slope. And the people that you're going to get to pay for microtransactions through the loot boxes, you're going to lose a lot more people because you're bringing loot boxes in. Surprise mechanics or whatever. Excuse me, right? You're gonna lose more than you gain from this, right? Sure, 20% makes 80%, but if you put this in the game, you're gonna start losing more player base because they're like, how many things are you gonna put in this game to try to get $10 out of our pocket? You got the battle pass, you got the skins, you got the different emotes, you got the other things that you're bringing in, you got the emojis, you got the MVP screens, you got all of these things. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think if NetEase brings this loot boxes in, this is a step in the right direction, or do you think it's a step in the wrong direction? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you'd like to watch some of our other videos, check out the channel. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Cliff says, I thought loot boxes were becoming illegal in a lot of places. Why still do it? And I guess also makes a lot of money. Well, if they change the name from loot box to different things, then the disguises it. I'm assuming that's what they're doing. If and when it comes to the game. Sarge says, because they own, it's their own problem. They didn't need to make new hardware, and they also don't actually use or optimize. It's just fucking stupid. Oh, you're talking about the system. Put on the old system. Jason says, I really hope they don't do this. They've been doing a great job with also the battle passes, free events. So this is a step in the wrong direction. 100% agree, Jason. 100% agree. Let's see. Ron Slusher says, I hope they add ads during matchmaking screens next. Altern says, now Marvel Rivals will cater to the Goonie gaming and now gambling needs. Thank you, NetEase. Sarge says, too many monkeys now. They have to brainwash over the years. Ron says, I'm just going to become a retro gamer and only buy games that come onto cartridge. Well, that means you're not buying games, right? Robert Jones says, at this point, I kind of don't care about the inclusion in free-to-play. I feel very differently about it being in paid games. The problem with the loot boxes is that there's like 15 different ways for them to make money, and this is just another way, and it's gambling, right? It's gambling inside the game, which then they would have to change the age bracket from 12 to 18 because there's gambling mechanics. As he says, 30. As long as 20%, I think they're missing out what might be the box. That's also they need to have them in the game, I guess, but it's going to do more harm than good. If another way to get free stuff is fine with that, right? If it's just another way to give them money, then I'm good. Yeah, if they bring this in, and let's say this, because look, it says unlock times 10, unlock times 1. There's no way, if this is real, they're not giving it away for free. They might put them in the battle pass, right? They might put them in the battle pass, and they might raise the battle pass price to like $12 instead of $10. There's no way they're giving it, because why would you be able to unlock 10? What currency are you using to unlock 10? Right? So, unless this is a different way of saying, hey, I'm trying to think here. Unless this is a different way to say, here, pay for the season pass, which doesn't expire, $10, you have to grind through the game, or pay for 10 of these. Randomly stuff can happen, and you too can also get these skins that are in the battle pass, but you don't have to pay for the battle pass. But that's kind of stupid, isn't it? Because the mentality is more sense or less sense than time. Because if they don't have the time to buy the battle pass and complete the battle pass, even though it doesn't expire, they don't have time to actually play the game, but they want the cosmetics, but they can't get the cosmetics because they can't purchase the cosmetics one for one. So then they have to buy the loot boxes to see if they unlock that cosmetic skin, so then they cannot play the game. It's a little weird. Eclipse says there's another way for them to... Already said that. Okay, let's see. Waterbear says, uh-oh. That is a loot box I see. Yep. Travis says, I think it's also put in Sarge's right... won't be the past year it lasts. Wait, I think if they put this in Sarge's right, they won't pass the year it's last. No, it'll still be last round, but it will. I said it will last 2 years, so I'm halfway there, almost halfway there, right? Let's see here. It's definitely paid. Was from freebies, maybe. I don't know. Times 10 loot box there. I don't know if it's I mean, oh yeah, it's definitely paid. Definitely paid. It's not free. Maybe free through Battle Pass. Maybe. Eclipse says, so they're doing a gotcha mechanic. Let's go. Morning, Wonder Rose. They're attacking the Chinese market. They love that stuff. Well, here's the thing, right? They're putting it back on the PlayStation 4, and they're also putting a loot box system in it. Right? Which means that the player base, let's go look at the player base for a second. Obviously, we don't know what it is on console, but we can look up the numbers. Let's look, because obviously they're going to be like, the numbers are diminishing and whatnot, right? Let's look at the 6 months, right? So this is April. Then that's May. That's July. So June, they didn't care about whoever came in. August. Every time a character comes in, it peaks, but it peaks at the peak of the last one. You see what I'm saying? So, like, this is the max. This is when it launched, basically. Right? Is that... Hold on. Let me zoom out. Okay. So, this is the launch... December, it dropped, it peaked, it dropped back down, and then it peaks. It's below where it peaked the last time, which then peaked lower the last time, it peaked lower than last time. So now they're like, okay, we had 644,000 different games came out, different competition came out. Some of the characters they brought out are not as popular. They put more people in the game, less people are coming to play the game. Because they don't have that many game modes. I'm telling you, you put a PvE in this game, especially since a lot of co-op games are like bangers right now. Lots of co-op games are being played a lot. Okay, people just want to play against the NPCs and whatnot. Right, 44,000 people playing now, not too shabby. Okay, but not very good from a 644,000. 90,000 people in the last 24 hours. But at the same time, loot boxes is not going to drive this number up, right? Not going to drive this number up. Even after Daredevil and Angel come into the game, and the next one, let's say, is Rogue and Gambit, it's not going to drive a shit ton of people in. They have to do something else than what they're doing with this game. And again, Overwatch 2 failed because they didn't keep to their promise of putting PvE in the game. If Marvel came in and put PvE in the game and did what Overwatch didn't, they would be more successful. Now, they are more successful. than Overwatch right now, but they're falling into the same, right? They're falling into the same old what Blizzard did with Overwatch. Instead of capitalizing on it, they just kind of went into the same platform. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't do the loot boxes, but I'm afraid, I think the proof's in the pudding. Even though it's it's leaked. That's in the game. How they're going to implement it, that's the question. And we'll report on it when it happens. Robert Jones says, how does Battlefield get away with loot boxes upgrade kits every game? The way it's established, like you get a loot box, but it's earned within the game. I don't think are they charging for them? I don't remember. Because I just get them every once in a while. I think it's because they give them, you're not paying for the loot box, you're paying for the currency, and the currency is then, you can take the currency and buy the loot. I forget how it is. Waterbear says it has lots of stickers, sprays that you can also pay for. Only $250 for a platinum box. What's the deal? Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn on. Where's my controller? I'm going to turn on Marvel Rivals right now because I want to show you all the different ways that you can purchase stuff in this game. All right. I want to show you all the different ways we can purchase things here. Where's Marvel Rivals? I probably need an update. I haven't played in a couple of days here, weeks. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Well, actually, yeah. I'll just put it on like that. Wall off kilter. All right. Let's look at all the different ways. Is today the day they put the new characters in? September 10th, right? Okay, so here you go. 2 days, 18 hours. These are premium, right? You purchase this as well. All right, you could purchase this. Purchase premium price is $690, or I'm sorry, $690, which is $6.90, or around about $7 or whatever like that, right? So there's this. Okay. Oh, these are different things. Okay. Remaining bonus, you got the chromium thing there. In the store, right? You could buy this skin, just this skin, for $16, which they put on discount for $22. Okay, congratulations for that. Then you also have, what is this? Right? Then you have the new cosmetics. You got the emotes for $600. Then you have different cloak and dagger. These are timed. These are trending right now. Okay, you got emotes. You got emotes, emojis. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Go back to the store. Then you have the hot ones, right? $24. Remember, $24 per skin, right? Got some really cool skins, man. Got to admit that, right? They got some really cool skins. Love the artwork and stuff, right? Then you have the accessories. I don't even know where these go, okay? Then you got the specials for the emojis and bundles. Then you have the exchange coin that you pay for. It's like $3. You go through the thing, you get the coin, you can, then do that. Then you have $5 to rename card. Right? You got lots of different things. Then you have the battle pass. You got the battle pass itself. Okay. Right, the battle pass, that costs. Right, they got lots of different things that they're doing here. And yet, they're going to add a loot box system. So they're making millions and millions of dollars. Can we all admit that? They're making millions and millions of dollars, or made millions and millions of dollars off of their free-to-play game. Right? They made a game. They didn't sell the game, but they're selling the stuff inside the game. They have plenty of characters now. 7, 14, 21, right? Almost 28. What do we got? How many characters do they have now? 3, 6, 7. That's 14. That's 28. That's 30. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. They have 40 characters right now. Right? They got plenty of ways to make money by adding more characters, and yet they might be going this direction. They might be going this direction, which I think they are. Going down the wrong direction is what they're doing. Eclipse says you call it slop, but you also have to spend more money on the game than I have. Easy enough to ignore, but it's there. Oh, you're talking about the Battlefield? But analysts and also NetEase Games, even though it's a good game, NetEase is known for sneaky shit. Yep. They kind of just like sneak it in, you know what I mean? And see what sticks or what doesn't stick. Been playing Delta Force, and it has like 10 different ways to spend money to play different passes. Yeah. And it's a free-to-play game, right? Do they have loot boxes in that game? Do they have loot boxes in that game? I'm not sure. I didn't really go into it. All right. Going from that to, let's go to, I think this is a replica story from yesterday. Unless they add more to it, right? Because we talked about Pete Hines yesterday. This might be another Pete Hines story. It says the Game Pass debate heats up as Xbox VP speaks out. Because yesterday he said Game Pass doesn't succeed unless people make the games, which was a stupid statement, I'll be honest. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just have conversation, read news stories, give you my thoughts and opinions, get your thoughts and opinions, have a conversation. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. There is also a thing I think they just added on YouTube. I don't know how it works. You guys are going to have to tell me. There's a hype button now. It's not on my phone or not anything. If someone can explain that to me, I think you get a certain amount of hypes per week to hype a channel. I'm not really too sure how that works. Again, they don't tell us anything on our side. So let me know if you have something on your screen that says hype or whatnot. Former Xbox Game Studio VP who retired in 2022 after almost 30 years at Microsoft recently weighed in on LinkedIn. Her comments came in response to criticism of subscription service from Pete Hines, Bethesda's former Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Communications. Now, Hines described subscriptions as a new four-letter word, okay, warning that the platform holders don't balance the needs of their service with proper recognition and compensation for developers, then also your subscription is worth jack shit, okay? He also said that the current model is hurting a lot of people, including the creators themselves, because the ecosystem isn't adequately valuing or rewarding their work. I have a question with this. I didn't talk about this yesterday, right? Here he says it also is currently models hurting a lot of people. But could you be saying that it's also helping a lot of people? Right? It's always this way, right? In politics and different things, sometimes when you vote for something, it's good for these group of people, but bad for these groups of people, right? And that's always going to be a thing, right? It says including the creators themselves because the ecosystem isn't adequately valuing and rewarding their work. Their work is being paid for. This is what I'm so confused about. Are these developers working for free? Right? Are they working for free? I'm assuming if they're working for a company, they're getting investors to pay them because if they haven't made money yet, a brand new company. I start a studio. I'm making a game. I got no money, but I'm paying my employees, right? You would hope they're paying their employees what their wage is. So if they're making $17, $20, they have a salary, right? They're making this game based on this stuff. And if they're not, then they're doing it as a passion project because they believe in the project and they're like, hey, yeah, I'm doing this in my spare time and we'll make money down the road because I believe in this project. And that's up to them, right? That's up to them. But to say that they're because the ecosystem is adequately valuing or rewarding their work, they're getting paid. I don't understand what we're talking about, right? I do this, right? And I make money off ad revenue. I make money off of paid subscribers, like members, right? I get super chats, right? I'm doing this and I'm making money, right? They're doing the same thing, but they're getting an actual paycheck to make the game. They're like, hey, I'm gonna make Expedition 33. They're getting a paycheck, and then at the end, the boss who's paying them is like, hey, I'm gonna sell this. We're gonna sell this out. We're gonna make a lot of money, and you guys all got paid. The workers are not getting a revenue share of the actual product at the end, right? That's above the line, as we call it in the industry, above the line, right? So anyone above the line, like in the film industry, I'm a camera operator. I get paid my day rate. Let's say my day rate is anywhere between $300 and $450 a day. Okay? Let's say I work for 30 days. That is my salary for that shoot. Once that movie comes out, I don't make anything else off that money, off the film. Above the line people do. The actors get a percentage, the director, the producers, the studio. They make more money than me. I just got my paycheck, made the product, made the piece of art, and then went home. It's not different in the video game space. The people making the actual game are getting paid. So when it's hurting the valuing or rewarding their work, rewarding for the work that they're doing is doing the job. And then at the end, the producers, the directors, whoever's operating the business gets paid on the back end, where they make a shit ton of money for a successful game. Okay. He says, with that context in mind, let's dig into Shannon Lofty's said response, why it matters, and what it could mean for Game Pass. So let's dig into that. Okay. So surprisingly, Shannon backed Pete's comments and agreed with his concerns. Writing on LinkedIn, she said, quote, while Game Pass can claim a few victories with games and otherwise would have sunk beneath the wave, the majority of game adaptations in Game Pass come at an expense of retail revenue, unless the game is engineered from the ground up to post-release monetization. Let me break this down. What's the guarantee right now if I make a video game and I put it out on the market? What is the guarantee that game sells? Zero. I always like to use my channel as a reference point. Okay, I want to show you on my channel. Right, I do these live shows 2 hours a day. Okay, I do live shows 2 hours a day, and every show that I do gets 180 to 200 views. Right. On average, okay? The other ones get like 300 or whatever because they've been there longer. But for the most part, 170, 289, 188, 167, 224, okay? And I just go live, right? I just go live, and then 200 people watch my videos, okay? Then I produce videos where I sit there and script them, right? I script them and put them out there. And then when we do that, sometimes I get 247 views. I get 248 views. Sometimes I get 300, 400 views. Sometimes I get 1,000 views. But ones that I actually put my time into and edit and whatnot, 50 views. 50 views. 65 views. 94 views. Okay? Now, the reason I bring this up is because there is no guarantee that if I make something, it's going to be successful. There's no guarantee. So when these people make a game and then sell a game, to automatically think that, well, if Game Pass didn't exist and I put this on the market, I would make $1 million. It would be successful because I made the thing and that's what it is. But the way they're looking at it is, well, because it was successful on Game Pass, I could have made all that money. Well, how do you reference one with the other? They got the money up front. Some of them make money, some of them make good deals, and other ones don't. Right? I don't know each individual deal, but I would assume they say, hey, we liked a percentage. We thought we were going to make this much. This is what we're looking for up front to recoup our costs. And then everything else goes everywhere else. You know, on other platforms, they make the money. Right? Expedition 33 was on Game Pass. They made money up front from Microsoft. And then it went on to sell 8 million copies. Palworld got a deal from Game Pass from Microsoft, and then it went on to sell 22 million copies. Right? Silksong got a deal, and it went on to sell a shit ton of copies. Okay? So to say that it's hurting the industry or hurting the people that are working in the industry, I don't know, man. I think if Game Pass wasn't there and you just released Silksong and you just released Expedition 33 and you just released Palworld, these games would still succeed because they made a game, sold a game, people liked it, and they bought it, right? Game Pass in these situations didn't affect them. Would you say that they would have made more sales? Sure. But at the same time, those people that try the game, like for me, I played Expedition 33 for about 20 hours, and then I stopped playing. I never finished the game, right? I would never purchase that game. I would never purchase that game. But now I've played that game and enjoyed it, and I bet maybe I'll go back and play it or whatever. Maybe I'll have to buy it afterwards because it takes it off Game Pass, or maybe I'll get their next game because what they did with this game, right? To say that this is hurting them, and if Game Pass wasn't here, they would actually sell more. There's no proof with that. There's no proof with that. It says, her perspective raises an important question. What happens to games that launch on Game Pass without relying on post-launch monetization? Could their longevity effect be compared to titles designed around ongoing revenue? If you just make a game and sell a game, in my opinion, and you got money up front, those are copies sold. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. If I wanted to charge $10 for my game, and I thought I was going to sell 100,000 copies, and Microsoft comes up to me and says, I'd like to put you on Game Pass. What are you expecting from your game? We wanted to charge $10, okay, and we thought we were going to get 100,000 copies sold. They're like, great. We'll give you $9.50 for 100,000 copies, okay? And they're like, okay, cool. So they got 50 cents less than what they wanted to charge, but they also got that many copies sold because they gave the money up front. Now that company that has that money can go, we don't have to sell 100,000 copies. We got that money up front. And now we can also sell it on top of that, right? Maybe they get 50%. Maybe they get 25%. Maybe they get 75%. Each one's different, okay? So at the same time, we've seen day one launches like Hollow Knight Silksong, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 still generate excitement, strong engagement outside of just Game Pass, with Silksong breaking pretty much every platform it released on. However, it's fair to ask whether the concerns raised by Shannon and Pete possibly point to a broader industry problem, or is it simply reflected of a healthy dose of skepticism about how sustainable Game Pass really is, or whether the games will post-launch monetization force games to successfully able to support single-player focused games. Subscription success, but at what cost? In 2025, Microsoft reported Game Pass generated nearly $5 billion in annual revenue, with Xbox content and service revenue climbing 13% year over year. On paper, Game Pass looks like a significant win for Microsoft. Still, that success has come with a trade-off. Tim Stewart, Microsoft CFO, admitted that the titles like Indiana Jones and Starfield likely lost millions in retail sales because of the inclusion of Game Pass. Pause. Indiana Jones and Starfield are part of Bethesda. Bethesda is part of Microsoft. Microsoft bought them for $7 billion, okay? And they are part of Microsoft now. They're not separate entity. Bethesda is Microsoft. Microsoft is Bethesda. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel, okay? They are one company. Blizzard is no longer Blizzard. Blizzard is Microsoft. So if Microsoft made $1 billion in AI and they choose to use that money they made from that to pay for this, that's what they get to do. They didn't lose sales. Okay, they didn't lose sales. They put it out there for value because Game Pass is making money for the overall company, and the company is an umbrella with all of these other companies underneath. If I decide that I get $1 million and I get to spend it on my house, my car, my kid, my wife, that's up to me what I want to spend my money on, but they're all underneath the umbrella, right? If each of my kid and my wife are all part of the corporation, I get to decide where I want to spend my money. So to say that Starfield lost millions of dollars and Indiana Jones lost millions of dollars, I would kind of look at it the opposite way. I'd be like, well, They invested these things and they put it into Game Pass because Game Pass is the thing that they want to do. And it's a loss leader, just like when you go to a grocery store or anything else to get people through the door, to get you into Game Pass. Because if we get you to stay into Game Pass because you came for Starfield, you came for Indiana Jones, or you came for Silksong, or you came for Roadcraft, or you came for Pal World, you might stay next month for the next thing. Games arrive on Game Pass after Microsoft pays developers an upfront fee for security inclusion. While that also can help fund development, it often comes at an expense to traditional retail earnings. You cannot say for 100% with impunity say that we would have made money. We would have made money. If we didn't go to Game Pass, we would have put it out there. We would have also made millions of dollars. You don't know that. You don't know what's going on. I go back to my videos. Every video I make, every show that I do, I have no idea if it's going to make 1,000 views, 10,000 views, 2 views. Okay? You have no idea. To assume that this equates to this is retarded. Okay? The model clearly favors live service titles that thrive on ongoing monetization. Call of Duty is the most visible example. Holy Christ. You're gonna compare the oddball, the outlier in gaming. Call of Duty, you're going to compare Call of Duty to an independent studio that comes out. Get out of here. Is the most visible example, have shifted towards heavy cosmetic sales and battle passes. Changes that critics argue dilute the franchise original design. Sorry to tell you this, they had microtransactions and stuff before Microsoft picked them up and bought it. Before they bought it. Right? That franchise was changing its identity way before before Microsoft picked it up. Okay, developers share mixed experiences and closing thoughts. It wasn't long ago that Sean Layden, former PlayStation executive, who now works for Tencent, voices concerns about Game Pass. He argued that the model risks turning developers into wage slaves, losing out on upside of strong sales. I'm not a big supporter of Netflix of gaming idea, he said. The problem with gaming is all we have is launch. I wonder if Sean Layden has a Netflix subscription. I wonder if he pays for Disney Plus. I wonder if he pays for any kind of subscription service. I wonder if he feels the same way, right? Obviously, he's in the video game business still. He's with Tencent, and Tencent's picking up people left and right. So I wonder if he's got a problem with subscription services and he actually pays for subscription services. This is the same guy that also said sports cars are less and less in the parking lot now, right? Others in the industry also have echoed similar concerns. Alex Hutchin, the creative director of Journey of the Savage Planet, noted that the Game Pass launch didn't lead to extra sales for his team. Why would it lead to extra sales? You got your money up front. Extra sales or extra plays? More people engaged with your game? Because obviously it's not going to be more sales. You got the money up front from Microsoft that you chose to take not once, but twice. Because you did it with your last game, and now you put your second game on Game Pass. So to say that it didn't bring you extra sales, but at the same time do it the second time with your second sequel of the game, I don't know. It says what we've seen in the context has been devalued, and that people are less willing to pay for things, he explained. People are paying for the service. Microsoft is paying you to put your game on that service. You chose to do that. You chose to do that, and you also made sales. You got the money up front. Do people think the money that they get up front is like non-existent? It doesn't exist? I'm so confused. Like if I asked for a loan and the bank gave me a loan, do I think that money didn't come in as part of my actual, like, giving me money? To just write that off and be like, well, it didn't really count. It wasn't actual sales. That covers the sales of games. If 100,000 copies you thought you were going to sell and they gave you $10 per copy, right? It's $1 million. Okay. Right. I'm sorry. If they gave you 100,000, paid for 100,000 copies, that's 100,000 copies sales. That's what that is. That's an upfront. Here's your money for 100,000 copies. Thanks. Oh, we didn't make a lot of money. Huh? Make a better deal. Don't push your thing on Game Pass then. I don't know what to tell you. It's all doom and gloom, though. Woon Choi, director of Lies of P, described Game Pass as one of the best options for us to get the game into players' hands. He said the partnership benefited both the studio and the community, calling it very good results for this collaboration. He said what we've seen in the context is also devalued, and people are also less willing to pay for things. The long run as likely mean fewer games being made and also a lot of studios going under. Good. Competition breeds competition. If I'm making a Overwatch game and Overwatch is still beating me, well, guess what? Your game's not good. Your game wasn't to the standards of what other people wanted, so guess what? It didn't sell. Make a game, sell a game. Sorry, hate to tell you, every video, like I said, I make is not a winner. Most of them are not winners. But I make them, and some take off, and some don't take off. To say that, well, it's hurting me because, there's other content creators on YouTube. Shut up. Shut up. When there's 5,000 things on a menu, you're overwhelmed. There's too many things, lots of shit on the menu. You know what I'm saying? Right? When there's less to choose from, guess what? Those things have to be good. Rebellion CEO Jason Kingsley offered a similar perspective. When discussing Atomfall, he called Game Pass launch a huge success, praising Microsoft for actively supporting the project. Beyond simply hosting the game, Microsoft leaned into helping us, bring us experience and scale to smaller studios. Kingsley added that the Game Pass helps mitigate risk, okay, by generating a certain level of income regardless of sales performance. That's right. Because that's sense there. That's exactly right. It doesn't give you all of your sales. It's giving you enough money, at least in their perspective. It gave them enough money so they didn't have to sweat bullets and go, holy Christ, we didn't think we were going to sell that many. Mind you, they're also selling DLC on top of this, right? It seems like the debate over whether or not Game Pass is good for the industry will never end. Some of the concerns raised by former executives and developers are valid, but it's also true that Game Pass is one of the best deals in gaming. Take my friend, for example. He recently picked up a second-hand Xbox Series S. After years of playing PlayStation when he was subscribed to Game Pass, he was stunned by how many games were instantly available, titles he would have not had to spend hundreds of otherwise. That's right, because as a customer, I don't give a shit if the company succeeds or dies. What I care about is I paid for product comes in, and boy, the value is there, okay? He says that's appeal. Thanks to Game Pass, I can play and enjoy games I might have never have ever paid $70 up front, like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which launches October 25th. The combination of accessibility of value that also keeps Game Pass at the center of conversation. Even the question about long-term impact continues to spark debate. Okay, I've said this before. They can condition you, and I've said it for years. Game Pass will be everywhere. And here it is. Okay, here it is. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about Game Pass? As a customer, do you give a shit? Do you care that these companies don't make money or they do make money? I personally don't, because if I'm interested in their game, I'll play their game. If I'm interested in their game and I like it a lot, I'll buy the game. If I'm interested in somewhat, I won't buy the game, but I'll try it on Game Pass and go, that's a really good game. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this in the future. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Jason says they're working for exposure. Let's see here. Robert Jones says YouTube is free to play. You have premium, membership, super chat, super stickers, hearts on hype. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff. I'm on mobile. That's where it appears. Does it appear? Where does it appear, Sarge? Where does the hype thing appear? It's not a banner. It appears a few times throughout the stream. Interesting. Okay. I just remember Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is dropping in 1.0 this month. That makes me excited. Oh, is it? Great game. Great game. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is like a vampire survivor type thing with such a good game. Hundreds of hours of stuff that you can play in that game. Sarge says they didn't lose sales. They got those sales up front. No, they lost those sales, Sarge. They lost them. If it was good enough for Game people would also buy it. I mean, look at Silksong, right? Pal World, Expedition 33. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed Shadows. Look at Dragon Age Veilguard. Maybe that would have done better if it was on Game Pass. Maybe if they got the money up front, they wouldn't have to lie about the numbers of people who were playing them. Sarge says the sports car comment was so cringe. I didn't think they also would ever say something like that out loud. PlayStation 5 says Savage Plant released at 30 frames per second and is most likely a no-go for a lot of folks. Aku says 30 people don't understand how Game Pass and everything works, at least when it comes to payments and all. Can I tell you something? If YouTube gave me, if they gave me, they're like, hey, how many views do you think you're going to get a month? And I say, I think I'm going to get 250,000 views. And they're like, great. We're going to give you a check for 250,000 views based on this amount of money. And then when it happens, and I go, oh, I lost money. Like, huh? What? Hey, YouTube, call me up. I will take a paycheck of a consistent amount of money up front, and then I'll take the stuff also on the back end as well. Okay? Let me know how that works, right? That's what every content creator was doing a couple years ago when they left Twitch to come to YouTube. YouTube was giving them money up front where they couldn't take memberships and subscribers because they took money up front. Do you think those content creators were like, I lost money? They could have, but they took the check. They took the bag up front. It's so stupid. Nobody knows if a game is going to be successful or not. But when it's successful, they're like, oh, we lost money. No, you took money up front. You could have not taken any money, and then you might have not gotten 1 million sales. PS5 Blue says elites complain about Game Pass because the peasants don't like their games. Sarge says the revenue you give them in microtransactions means they don't have to improve the base game and have compete with any other title. They have the money they wanted for doing less. Aku says, whatever, they also needed to stay out of the discussion. Too many people don't care in some way, even though they correct information but spout BS if you have one of those people here. Who's ready to defend plants from a Terminator attack? What are they attacking us now? We're gonna play this afternoon, maybe. I don't know if we're playing a thing this afternoon with Mr. Luke. I got an electrician coming this morning. Well, this afternoon, from the time of the sun comes up and the time the sun comes down. They don't tell me a time, so I don't know if I can do this afternoon stream. Hopefully this morning they'll text me sometime and let me know. Actually, hold on. Let's see. Okay. Nope, they haven't texted me yet. Well, let's go from that to this, right? From Game Pass, bad for business for everyone that's not on Game Pass. And here's the best part that I love, right? The people that say they lost money, like Pete Hines saying that Starfield and Indiana Jones lost money. I don't know if he actually said that, but people said that, and Pete Hines has worked for that company, and he left. They also got paid $7.3 billion for all their companies put together, right? And then now they're owned by Microsoft. And then they did make money, by the way. They sold 6 to 10 million copies between Xbox and PC on top of Game Pass. Okay? So, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should lower the production cost and not charge $400 million for a video game, and then maybe you'll make more money. I don't know. The next thing we have is this is Xbox that goes vroom. Okay? I don't know what this is. This is an Xbox. The car's an Xbox, guys. The car's an Xbox. This is an Xbox that goes through. So now there's a screen in the back of the car in partnership with LG. From the back seat, this is the only way to ride. This car is an Xbox, coming soon to LG Automotive Content Platform powered by WebOS. There you go. So there you go. This is Mo's car. Xbox Cloud Gaming Beta coming to select vehicles in partnership with LG. We're committed to the meeting players wherever they are. Boy, I'm so glad I said this years ago. And everyone thought I was crazy. And now I'm fucking crazy. Because now a car is a goddamn Xbox. Okay? This is why we're excited to announce our latest expansion of Xbox Cloud Gaming Beta. Through that collaboration of LG Electronics, we're working on integrating the Xbox experience into select internet-connected vehicles, introducing a new way to bring more ways for players to love about Xbox into more places. Okay, with the Xbox built in the LG WebOS Automotive Content Platform, passengers in the internet-connected vehicles will be able to stream and play games directly from the Xbox app. My son does that right now on a hotspot. Okay, on a hotspot he does this. Okay. Ultimate members will also soon have instant access to hundreds of games, including popular titles like Gears of War Reloaded, Forza Horizon 5, and upcoming release of Obsidian's Entertainment, Outer Worlds 2. An automotive data plan is required to access streaming services, and all services operate in compliance of the driving safety regulations. Already have some favorite Xbox titles in your library. Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can also stream select games they already own, such as Bug Snacks, Don't Starve, Mafia: The Old Country, and more. Given that even more flexibility in gaming experience, you can also find a full list here. Whether you're jumping back into old favorites, discovering something completely new, Xbox Cloud Gaming and LG Electronic transforms your vehicle system into more than just music and movies. It becomes a full entertainment hub. Whether you're waiting for the EV charging station or trying to entertain your passengers on the extended road trip, pass the time by playing games and keeping everyone entertained by making a journey feel more fun. Okay, there goes car bingo. Oh, there goes car bingo. Right? If you're new to gaming, Xbox Cloud Gaming is a great way to get started. All you need is connect a capable Bluetooth controller, launch an Xbox app from the internet connected in vehicle, okay, and also log into your Xbox Game Pass subscription and start playing. Okay. Our work with LG is the latest example of Xbox expanding new places, building partnerships, and already bringing Xbox Cloud Gaming to mobile devices, PC, and TVs by adding vehicles to the mix. We're giving players more choice, and then even how they also enjoy their games. So they don't tell you what car brands they're doing. I'm assuming they'll pick like Honda, Toyota. You know what I mean? Like they'll pick a huge car brand is what I'm saying. Maybe like Ford or Chevy. You know what I mean? Where cars are more on the road. But there you go. There you go. Xbox Cloud Gaming coming to a car near you. Yeah, they're attacking plants we own and their segments. Gotcha. Jason says, this is Mo's next car. Kylo says, how much you want to bet that the car will become in Horizon 6? Probably. Eclipse says, man, kids are so lucky these days. You remember watching out the window and following an invisible guy doing parkour? Those are the days. Yeah, I used to take my fingers. Eclipse, and I used to go out the side of the window and do this, right? And like jump over the side window. And then what I would do, I would sit on the armrest, which I thought was a booster seat back in the day when I was a kid. In my dad's Oldsmobile, I would sit in that armrest in the back seat, and there would be a little dot on the window if it was a bug splatter or whatnot. And I would sit there and pretend that was a reticle, okay? And then I would go, and if a car in front of us put their turn signal on and go off the exit, that was a hit, right? Like I destroyed that car, and that car went off to the side, right? That's what I did in the car. I didn't have all this electronic shit and all these other things, right? That's what I did. Now you could literally shoot things while you're in the car. Now I'm driving. And ironically, I still do the exact same thing. While I'm driving, I pretend I'm shooting the cars in front of me, okay? And they move away. While I'm also racing. Yeah, that's what I do now when I'm also driving. They're currently partnered with Hyundai, which is ironic considering the latest news and all. I don't know what the latest news is for Hyundai. Yes, like you were on the Enterprise or something. That's exactly right. All right, the next thing. Moving right along here. Helldivers 2 leak reveals Star Wars-inspired superweapon. Okay. Helldivers 2 leak reveals Star Wars-inspired superweapon. Again, this is all leaked. We don't know if this is actually happening yet, but we'll find out shortly, hopefully. Okay. If you guys like what I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I don't just say hit the like button. Like, I need you guys to hit the like button. Okay. I'm obscured on the internet, and low channels need likes. So if you like it, you come out every single day, make sure you hit that like button. It helps us out. Okay. It's the simplest form that you can help a content creator out across the entire platform. If you watch the video and you like it, hit the like button. Helldivers 2 leak reveals Star Wars-inspired superweapon. So a recent Helldivers 2 leak uncovered a superweapon capable of destroying planets. I mean, that's it right there. You don't even need to read the rest of the article. If there is a superweapon capable of destroying planets, well, it greatly resembles the Star Wars Death Star. Helldivers 2 community is always hungry for fresh content, and the new superweapon could be interesting, in addition to a popular cooperative third-person shooter. Okay. Developer Arrowhead Game Studios is published by Sony. Helldivers 2 has been a big hit, and the game was released on PlayStation 5, PC back in 2024, selling over 15 million units at the time. With that recency and release, the Xbox Series X and S Helldivers surged popularity once more, nearly tripling its concurrent player count. New leak indicates that the automaton superweapon will look a lot like the Star Wars Death Star. The popular Helldivers 2 leaker Iron Sights recently revealed a new superweapon that seems inspired by Star Wars' iconic Death Star. According to the Iron Sights, this weapon is capable of destroying planets in a single blast and will be visible on the galactic map. The insider also indicates that the weapons of mass destruction would be made by the automatons following the construction of the factory worlds. And this was also unknown if the superweapon will be added to Helldivers 2, but Iron Sights expected it to be available a bit after the factory worlds. Okay, it says automaton superweapon, a planet-sized superweapon constructed by the automatons following the construction of the factory worlds. This device is built around a single annihilation cannon, likely capable of destroying planets. The superweapon will be visible. So here you go. This is what it looks like. Yeah, I would say that is a planet. That is a Death Star. It literally has a cannon shooting out the side of it. Okay, instead of a laser beam, it's a big giant cannon shoving out the side of the thing. So I would assume. Now this would be pretty cool. Let's speculate a little bit here. Let's speculate here, shall we? If the automatons are coming in with a Death Star type of ray that can blow up planets, there's going to be an impossible mission that's going to happen where we're going to lose a planet. Okay? One of the planets that you love or hate is going to get blown up by this thing because we're going to fail. They're going to 100% make us fail, so this thing blows up a planet. Okay? Then we're going to have to invade this thing, and we're going to fight on top of this thing inside the base or on top of the planet or whatever. It'd be pretty cool. Okay? Again, I'm speculating all of this. Okay? And then we blow it up. We win, and we blow this up, and then we think it's over, but they're going to have another one. They're going to have another one. Okay? So there you go. There's the picture behind them on the map, it looks like. That looks like it's on the map. Or above the map. All right, so it's likely that the game still has months before the superweapon finally makes its debut, but that doesn't mean that the Arrowhead Game Studios hasn't been resting on its laurels. All right, the latest Helldivers 2 patch launched last week, and while it did not add big chunks of content the game like the previous, it also just updated. It made a number of useful tweaks in some weapons and fixed some glitches and issues. Here's my next question. Obviously, do we think when this comes in, they've teamed up with Star Wars, and we get inspired armor like Halo, like Killzone? Do we get Stormtrooper, Helldiver cosmetics? I mean, come on, right? I think so. Seems like a real easy matchup to have, right? Maybe it's not Stormtrooper, but Stormtrooper inspired. There's already some armor in the game that looks Stormtrooper inspired. Okay. So one thing the Helldiver community is eagerly anticipating is improve the optimization of PC gamers. Also been increasingly happy about the file bloat of PC version of Helldivers, which is currently 140 gigabytes in size. Additionally, players on the platform have been complaining for a while that the title is not optimized for SSD, and even powerful PCs sometimes freeze up. It remains to be seen if the next edition of Helldivers 2 will be, but the devs will likely be putting out more content while fixing bugs, generally improving performances. Last month, Arrowhead Game Studios addressed the split-screen co-op on Helldivers 2, saying that technically feasible, but the gamers should not expect it anytime soon. All right, so there you go. So Death Star coming sometime in the near future, well, in the future, I should say, inside the game of Helldivers. So what do you guys think? Do you think that because it's inspired superweapon of the Death Star, do you think that we're going to get a Warbond that is Star Wars inspired as well? Let me know in the conversation down below, or the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Do you think they put like a speeder bike in? Like we get like a motorcycle-esque type of vehicle that we get to ride around in? That'd be interesting, right? Wouldn't it be cool, instead of just being a Helldiver, you become a Helldiver pilot and you're out in space, and we got to do like a trench run or something like that? Could be pretty cool as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. Let's see. Aku says 30. Honda got busted by ICE in one of those. Oh, I didn't know that was a Honda dealership. The Hyundai dealership. Yeah, I saw it. I didn't know it was a Hyundai. Nintendo should sue. Why? Because it's red? Somehow, the Death Star has returned. What's going on, Roadkill? No, bro? Just no? What, about the ships? Or about the Star Wars thing, Sarge? I think Star Wars is coming. You can't put a Death Star in the game without putting up a team up with Star Wars, right? I think you could do something. It'd be cool if you had like a ship and you're flying in space, and instead of calling stratagems in on the ground, you're calling different types of stratagems where your ships are firing. So you're fighting, but the laser shoots out and different things come out for your ship. Same thing, but instead of a stratagem landing, it's just shooting from your actual ship. All right, so we got that. And then we got Legendary Drop. We got Legendary Drops. It's 11 o'clock, and it'll be about an hour of this. It's a 23-minute video. Legendary Drops description in the link down below. Or I should say the link is in the description down below. Aku says, Star Wars is technically is historical lore for the universe. They know about it. Do they inside of Helldivers? All right. Let's watch Legendary Drop talk about The game industry finally admits they are the problem. This should be good.
I can't believe the games industry just admitted that they're the problem. This is like the Twilight
Did they admit they're the problem? What did they admit?
Zone. Recently, developers over at DICE, the guys that are working on Battlefield 6, farming yet another W, have noticed and come forward and said that a lot of players were playing the game under recommended spec and saying that they need to target low-end hardware. What?
Oh, we knew about this. Yeah. So, yeah, I've said this for years. They have to target that. You have to target the lower spec of the thing, no matter how good. We said this when the Xbox Series S and X came out, right? I said, it doesn't matter how good this is, you got to make it run on the lowest platform.
Is this common sense from the games industry? What timeline are we living in right now? For years now, we've been in a visual state of entropy. We've had these games, millions of dollars, and tons of games that have been completely wasted because they look great in screenshots,
right,
but they're utterly lifeless, uninteresting.
That happens more and more. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good games out there. Lots of good games out there. Beautifully looking, mechanic-wise are great, right? But there's a lot of games that look beautiful that are just a hollow husk of a game. They're not good. They look visually stunning, but they're absolute garbage.
And in most cases, not even playable for the vast majority of people that are out there. Tell me, what is the point in selling a game that isn't fun or isn't playable?
It looks great, though, right? It's not fun or playable, but man, does it look great.
Or in most cases, both. For whatever reason, the games industry has just completely ignored their audience on this, especially when it comes to performance. They've been outpacing us and expecting that we keep up with their overspending and their overcommitment into things that...
Me and Star talk about this all the time. We didn't ask for all this, right? We didn't ask for them to give us the super graphics and all this stuff. So when we play a game, it's like, right? We didn't ask for all this. We didn't ask for the 140 gig game. We didn't ask for any of this, right? Why do you think Minecraft is actually pretty, high powered for computers and stuff like that? But visually, Minecraft is not the best looking game. Roblox, not the best looking game. But yet, for some strange reason, these are two of the most popular games on the planet. Why is that?
Simply just do not matter at the end of the day. Ask any gamer out there, and more times than not, they're going to rank fidelity lower on their list than performance and whether or not a game is fun.
Yeah, gameplay.
Whether it's Unreal Engine 5 upscaling, RTX hair physics, we have been in a performance crisis for far too long, and it is time that the games industry does something about it. Now, I'll admit, performance has always been a bit of a blind spot for me. I overinvest into my hardware. I do a lot of video editing, and more times than not, I can just brute force my way through whatever technical issues a lot of other players are running into. It's not that I don't see the complaints. I just rarely experience them myself. And
I'm the same way. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, we're trying to get a brand new rig because when we want to play games on PC, I just can't run at the high end when I'm streaming, right? I can play the game when I'm off stream and play it, and I could put it at the high settings, ultra settings, and it runs fine. But when I stream, I don't have that power, right? So it diminishes my thing. So I have to give you a worse performance when I'm playing games on PC. So if I'm going to do that, then I'd rather just play on console.
And I usually try sticking to talking about things that I actually have experienced firsthand. But with the mountain of tech debt and the Unreal Engine 5 slop that's just been flooding into the market over the past couple of years, even I have started hitting walls. And I, like everybody else...
Yeah, I'm not getting a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Cannot justify upgrading my hardware just to be able to pay for somebody else's mistakes. It feels like the bigger the budget, the worse the performance. These massive AAA projects...
I'm a patient person, Water. When I have it, I'll get it. Not the PlayStation 5, the new PC, when I save up enough.
Demand more and more just to run, and when the games themselves are unfun, pandering to audiences that don't exist, and run like absolute dog water, you're left asking, why even buy them at all? That question has been absolutely brutal for the games industry because we've seen more and more high-profile releases failing right out of the gate. And we all know the pattern by now, the flashy screenshots, the cinematic trailers, the in-engine...
Yeah, I don't fall for that shit anymore. I know a lot of you guys don't fall for it anymore. You see something beautiful with the cinematic trailer, and I'm like, what's the gameplay? gameplay. And then once you show the gameplay, then I need to know the inner workings of what's happening. Okay? So what sold me on Dune wasn't the graphics, right? Dune told me what the game was, and then they showed me gameplay, and then they showed me the intricate things of the game. And I was like, you know what? I'm sold on that, right? Path of Exile 2. They talked about it. They showed it. Then they told us about what the gameplay was. That's why I was interested in it.
Cutscenes that look nothing like the final game once it's released, and then when the release date does come, what we get is lifeless, boring, stuttery garbage half hidden under aggressive upscaling, crashing, freezing, sometimes literally unplayable.
There is no reason, zero reason, to buy a game day one. Zero. Because most games come out unoptimized. They've said it out loud, especially if they're using Unreal Engine. Right? Most games come out unoptimized, meaning day one patch, week one patch, month one patch, 6-month patch, 12-month patch, doesn't matter. Okay? It should be unoptimized. Hell, games have come out and left unoptimized. Think about that for a second. Games were launched, early access, beta, preview program, released, out for a year, and then closed down and still were not optimized. There is no reason to buy a game day one.
You'd expect poor optimization out of indie or AA teams, smaller studios with fewer resources, less experience, struggling to get every ounce of performance out of their games, but it's the opposite. It's nearly every AAA release that's showing up broken because these companies don't understand their audience and they prioritize their release dates and marketing over performance. Hell, most of these companies straight up lie about their system requirements.
100%.
Look at Monster Hunter Wilds, maybe the most prolific example of a bait and switch this generation. On Steam, Capcom listed the minimum spec as a GTX 1660 and recommended as a 2060. What? This game barely runs on a 30 or 40 series card, which is exactly why one of the most popular games of 2025 is now sitting at mostly negative reviews on Steam.
And it sold millions, tens of millions of copies for Monster Hunter. And guess what? They don't care. They don't care to optimize it. They don't care to fix it. You know why? They got your money. They got your money. And once they got your money, they can take their sweet, sweet time giving you a optimization update. We are listening. We hear you. We got you. Thanks for supporting us. We really appreciate it.
The good news is, if you can call it that, it seems like some of these studios are finally waking up to it. They've realized that if they keep overshooting their audience's hardware, well, their games are just going to tank no matter how good they look in a trailer. In an article from Eurogamer written by Connor McCarr titled,
"This will be the next game that comes out. It will sell millions of copies. It will be broke, buggy, and unfinished when it comes out, and they will not care. Why? Because they have your money."
Battlefield 6 dev says a significant number of users played the game below minimum recommended specs, as EA points to the importance of weaker hardware. They write, a substantial number of Battlefield 6 open beta players were playing the game on or around minimum recommended specs, according to technical director Christian.
Do you know why, though? They lower their minimum. They lower it. You know why? Because they can see better when people are hiding or behind things because it doesn't render that stuff in. That's one of the reasons.
Bull. In an interview with Eurogamer, Bull broke down some of the user data of the initial wave of PC players who hopped on to play the game earlier this month, stating that of the millions of players who were jumping in, a sizable portion of them were doing so on lower-end hardware. Speaking about some of the lengths Battlefield Studios and EA went to ensure that the game was playable on older setups, Bull stated, "We built maps and had to go to our artists and tech artists to adjust these maps so they were more performant. We put a lot of effort across..."
What that's stating right there, the artists, tech artists, adjust these maps so they were more performative, meaning less shit on the boards. 2042 did the same exact thing, by the way, right? To get better performance, they put less shit on the map, but then they had to go back and fix it.
Across the board to make sure that performance targets were set, and whether you're on minimum spec or ultra spec, you're going to get the experience we're targeting. When asked about how important it is to serve minimum spec players at a time where PC hardware is getting more expensive due to bloated prices or general economic challenges right now, Bull responded by saying, "Minimum spec is certainly one of our most important specs."
First of all, it's always been that way. But yet people are like, oh, the high end, the high end, the high end, the high end. It has to run on the lower thing. Has to. On PC, if you have a 4090, it has to run on a 1080. Right? Why? Because most people still have a 1080.
It's super important from both a commercial and a business perspective. We want as many people playing our game.
Yeah, as many people as possible playing your game. That's exactly right.
We'll continue with an anecdote from earlier in the game's development. We did a lot of analysis. We did tests on the game on a wide range of hardware above and below our minimum and recommended specs. We figured out what we can hit, what we need to hit from a business perspective, and that was to capture a wide audience on PC. It's been super critical.
This is amazing to me that they actually they lost this for years ago. Okay, this is amazing that they're actually saying it, right? Because again, PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, 67 million people still on a PlayStation 4. Okay, 67 million people still on a PlayStation 4. Why do you think Marvel Rivals is going to PlayStation 4? Right? How many people do you think own a 4090? Okay, it took me almost 10 years to go from a 960 to a 3060. Okay, almost 10 years. It was like 8.5 years. Okay, I went from a 960 to a 3060. I'm still not up in the thing, and I play games all the time. Right? Most people have a low-end rig, and yet these guys are making it for the high, and then they wonder why they don't sell games because they've cut out 90% of their market.
While I appreciate these developers finally taking notice, anybody could have told you this. Steam publishes a monthly hardware survey, and the GTX 1650 ranks number 4. The RTX 2070...
There you go. 1650.
ranks number 10, and everything else in that top 10 list is either mid-tier 30 or 40 series cards. Yet for some odd reason, we keep seeing these people wanting to flaunt NVIDIA's latest AI upscaling.
Yeah, here's a 50, 90, a 60, a 70, an 80, a 900, 9,000, whatever. Well, all the stuff you're coming out with. 90% of the people that play on PC have a mid-tier card.
DX hair path tracing and Unreal Engine 5's push button detail, features that most players can't even use. And all this time that's being spent chasing these tech flexes is not being spent optimizing these games for the hardware that their customers actually own. This is an industry-wide self-inflicted wound. Unreal Engine 5 deserves part of the blame, given how many games have been coming out on that engine. It gives developers way too many shortcuts to cover up for their mistakes rather than actually fix them. Result is a lot of bloated file sizes, technical debt, and a generation of developers that probably aren't even going to know how to be able to solve any of their own performance issues. But it's not just the engines that are making this worse. It's hardware companies that are complicit in this too. NVIDIA keeps pushing features like DLSS frame generation, essentially covering up for unoptimized code by having AI generate
we're making fake frames for you to think that you have real frames.
Extra frames. Instead of actually addressing any of these root issues, these tools are giving publishers and developers more excuses to ship broken games and rely on hardware gimmicks to be able to mask it. Now, with that said, Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic, the creator of Unreal Engine 5, is still right with his recent comments regarding the criticisms of the engine, where he had said, the primary reason Unreal Engine 5 games don't run smoothly on certain PCs or GPUs is the development process. Going further on to say that many developers begin developing games for high-end hardware, then optimizing and testing on lower-spec devices in the final stages. All this is creating two massive problems for the games industry. First, by targeting high-end hardware, developers end up working backwards. They build for the top 1%, they cram in all the extra bells and
make their own problems, and then they have to go back and fix the optimization. Right? Instead of working for the 90% of the people on their rigs, they go for the 99% of the people that don't have the top-end rigs. They go for the top-end rigs. Why? Because those people are going to play their games day one. They are streamers. They're content creators. They're people that are going to, show off the game, which is marketing for them. And then they go back and fix the optimization problems later. But it's already broke, buggy, and unfinished. And then you have to wait 6, 12, 18 months for them to fix it.
whistles, then they realize at the 11th hour that most players can't even boot the thing. So what do they got to do now? Well, they got to start ripping the pieces out, stripping back shaders, scaling back assets, downgrading effects. But by that point, those features are so baked into the game that it destroys the experience at a fundamental level. Try to pull anything out, and then all of a sudden the entire thing collapses, breaking other systems in the process. That's why so many games launch with bizarre bugs or missing features. It's not because the tech is impossible. It's because developers are undoing their own work in a
Get the money now, Sarge. Get the money now. Fix it maybe later. Do you think for 1 second, how long did it take No Man's Sky to fix their game? From when they launched on PlayStation and PC to when they fixed it, where they had their No Man's Sky moment, how many months did it take to fix No Man's Sky? 2 years. 2 years it took to fix No Man's Sky. How many years did it take to fix Cyberpunk 2077? How many years did it take to fix Fallout 76? How many years did it fix to 2042? How many years did it fix it? Like, there's so many examples because they already have your money. They don't need to fix shit if you give them the money up front. Zero. They don't have to fix it. They are fixing it, but they're taking their sweet, sweet time. Meanwhile, the microtransaction stores are still working just fine. And all the updates and different skins and different upgrades and map packs and everything else they put in the thing just keep coming out. But that optimization, that working game is still 18 months away.
A blind panic. Second, and this is the most damning part of all of it, and also the most infuriating, is that optimization is not happening across the entire development cycle. It's being crammed into the very last stretch right before the game's release, when the game's already locked in and the deadline is set. And the worst part is that those deadlines are not about the players. It's about fiscal calendars. Publishers are shoving these games out the door to be able to prop up their quarterly earnings, to be able to make their investor slideshow look pretty. Marketing drives the stock price, not performance. That's why you see so many of these beautiful trailers and disastrous launches. It's not incompetence.
This is why you always get the scripted, hey guys, look at the graphics in this thing and look how beautiful it is. And they're walking the guy around. Nobody plays a fucking game like that. No one's walking around like, this is how you look around. You're like, holy shit, this is actually pretty good. All right. And then you start running. Okay? Nobody plays a game like that. Rule number one, when you see them walking in slow motion, okay, open up your eyes and go, oh, what's happening here? Right? What's happening here?
It's a business model that's built on sacrificing quality for Wall Street optics. If for whatever reason you guys think I'm talking out of my ass with this, you can see it plain as day with Capcom. Dragon's Dogma 2 launched in March, just 2 weeks before their fiscal year-end report. Monster Hunter Wilds came out the year after that, at the very last day of February. Again,
money, 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 money.
And right before earnings. Both times those games shipped with poor technical condition to be able to impress their shareholders instead of actually serving their players. And both times the long-term cost was pretty obvious with that. I mean, Monster Hunter Wild sold 8 million copies in its first month, but
8 million copies. Cyberpunk 2077 sold 15 million copies. Took 2 years to fix.
Since then has only been able to move 500,000 copies. The problem isn't just that these games are broken at launch, it's what the cycle has done to the entire games industry. When publishers are rushing products to be able to meet financial deadlines, when developers are treating optimization as an afterthought, the result is an endless loop of wasted resources and burned trust with their players. Players are going to stop buying these games because they don't believe that they're going to work. Developers are going to burn out trying to patch problems that should have been solved months before the game even came out. It's going to make it even more difficult for these guys to be able to deliver additional content. Publishers are doubling down on their marketing instead of just listening to their audience. It's a vicious cycle where short-term profits are prioritized over long-term stability, and every time it happens, it deepens the fracture between the studios and the people that they're supposed to serve. And I feel like that's the part that the games industry has to understand. Performance is not just a technical detail, it is the foundation of whether or not people want to engage with your games at all. If a player cannot trust your game to be able to run smoothly, if they cannot trust it to even work in the first place, then why are they going to buy it? They're not going to play it. They're not.
I missed that part. Sorry, I looked out the window for a second.
Want to engage with your games at all. If a player cannot trust your game to be able to run smoothly, if they cannot trust it to even work in the first place, then why are they going to buy it? They're not going to play it. They're not going to stick.
No reason to buy day one. No reason.
Stick around for your battle passes, expansions, or microtransactions. These guys are gone. I absolutely love the foresight of these Battlefield 6 developers to say that reaching a wider audience involves them targeting lower-end hardware. That is so refreshing to hear nowadays. Maybe these guys watch the channel. If you do, subscribe. It feels like we've had half a decade or more of these guys talking about wanting to target the modern audience, whatever that is. Instead, all you need to do is just look at the price of your games and how your games perform. Look, I promise you that if you deliver a fair price and good performance, you're going to...
Real quick, thank you very much for the 4 months. 4 months. He says, you rock. I hope you have more success. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much for the membership for 4 months.
You're going to move a lot more copies than you will with difficulty settings and a character with dyschromia. You know, when I talk about these issues, I think in a lot of cases,
Sarge says, we are the problem. We give them the money before the product actually works. If they want to fix and stop buying now, let the game sit for a year. You should be looking at year-old games as new. 100%, because a year-old game is actually, if the sales are low when the game comes out, let's just say this, and I'm not wishing this on Borderlands, okay? I'm not wishing this on Borderlands in any way, shape, or form. I'm not buying it because of lots of different reasons. But Borderlands, if it comes out unoptimized, let's say there's problems with it, okay? Day one, if it doesn't sell, you know how fast they fix that game? Do you know how fast they fix that game? If it's Randy Pitchford's already setting it up, right? They already have the pre-orders. They already have a shit ton of pre-orders happening. Hence why they came out and said, don't expect it to work properly when it comes out. There's a lot in the game. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game. It's the biggest thing we've ever created. It's huge. It's the biggest thing. You've already set the expectations. It will have optimization problems. Now, if no one was pre-ordering and no one buys it day one, guess what? That game will come out flawless. Flawless. But what's going to happen now is that 5 million people pre-ordered it. Game's going to come out. It's going to have optimization problems, and then they'll fix it 8 months from now. And then while they're fixing it, 8 months down the line for optimization, they'll tell you, hey, here's the next update. We're bringing this in. Hey, check out this thing. Here's this thing. Here's the thing from the store. Here we got an update with more guns putting in, more boss fights, up. It's like a magic trick. Look at this hand. Well, this one's fucking you, okay? That's what it is. If you buy the game day one and unoptimized, you deserve it. I'm sorry. It's a hard, harsh thing. If you buy a game day one and it's unoptimized, it's your fault. You bought the game that was incomplete, and then they fix it later. And then people like me come out afterwards, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, and go, hey, you know what? This is a good game now. Thanks for testing it for me for the last 12 months.
Performance is probably the biggest culprit when it comes to just this overwhelming feeling of customer dissatisfaction. Like, that's just the root of where this all started. First, people got mad about how these games performed, and then they started getting mad about everything else. You know, I've seen a lot of game developers that have come out and try to get people to just tone it down a little bit, you know, get rid of the animosity. But what these guys don't understand is that the only way you get yourself into the position in which you have this much vitriol is because you've made the players, you've made your customers feel so undervalued that they see you as an enemy and not an ally.
Yes. And that's where I am. I used to love gaming. I still love gaming. I used to love gaming where I would just buy the game because I was like, that looks good, that looks great. But then it comes broke. My son, who is now 11, he just turned 11. Back in 2020, when the first flight sim came out from Microsoft, okay, he played it and loved it. He was looking forward to it so well, right? And then the game came out, and he's like, why does it keep crashing? Why does it keep doing this? And I said, they didn't optimize the game. They didn't fix their game, right? And at the time, okay, because he's 5 years older now, okay, he was 6. Okay, I am 47. I got skewed at 35. My son now looks at games and is like, oh, this is broke. He tells it. I don't say anything to him. Okay, I don't say anything to him. I don't want to ruin him. I'm not ruining him. The game companies are ruining him. Okay, because now Microsoft Flight Sim in 2020 did it to him. And then Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 did it to him again. Okay? Unoptimized, breaks, crashes. Then he gets another game and it does the same thing. And then this happens. And then he starts to look at it and go, why are we getting these games? Right? We're not the ones teaching our kids that things are broke. They're doing it all themselves. They're tarnishing and just completely ruining everything they've done by just making a game and selling a game. They make a half game, unoptimized, and then fix it later.
The games industry does not have any quality standard.
Nope.
That's a problem. This is all self-policed by platforms. So if somebody goes out and they buy a game and that game doesn't work for them and for whatever reason they can't refund it, they're going to feel like they got conned. And in a lot of cases, they did get conned. So, don't give out what you can't take back and don't put that evil out there. You're the one that did in the first place.
Right.
The more I look into these issues, the more I come to realize that their priorities are just so broken nowadays. I mentioned it at the start of the video, but we're at a point of visual entropy. These guys are pouring hundreds of millions of dollars and tons of man hours into...
It's almost like women that get dolled up. Put all this hundreds of dollars of makeup on their face. But most guys just look at them and go, oh, you're beautiful, just the way you were. And yet, with all the makeup on, they're like, oh, what happened? Put that back on, right? You falsified what you looked like. We thought you looked like that, but then you took all it off, and we're like, that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now. Instead of the people that don't put any kind of makeup on, you look at them and go, oh, wow, that girl's hot. Or that guy's really good looking, whatever.
To these games and into their visuals, and just because the tools are there doesn't mean you actually have to use them. And I think that's the problem that we're running into with a lot of these games. It's like, for whatever reason, these guys have looked at video games, and now they think that the only way they can sell them is through their visuals. It's like...
That's it. No personality, no substance whatsoever. Just a hollow game. Looks good, no depth.
Thumbnails, but with YouTube videos that have no substance. It's just not going to get you anywhere. And these guys have prioritized visuals for far too long, and it's gotten to the point where their games aren't even worth playing. Has anybody else noticed how it feels like almost every single other week there's some new visual tech that's being shoved into games? Look at Unreal Engine 5, Nanite with limitless polygons, Lumen for global lighting, MetaHuman creators for...
Right, Sarge. Corporate salute. Gotta keep that bar going up.
Near perfect faces, Niagara for pixel level particle systems. I remember seeing that viral demo about 3 years ago of the Japanese train station, or that other one where they had the ancient temple with the bugs, bats, and birds that were all communicating with each other in real time. It's impressive, sure, but at the same time,
this stuff like this is not for us. This stuff's not for us. This stuff is to get investors to invest in their company and go, look what we can do.
Single time I hear billions of triangles in a single statue or pixels that are running on their own AI, all I can think to myself is something still has to render this. And I think that's where the problem starts. I was watching a recent UE 5.6 update where the narrator was bragging about how these tools could hit 60 FPS on current gen hardware. And I thought to myself, that's the catch. Current gen, most people aren't even using 40.
How many people though, Water, right? Obviously it's a tech demo, right? But how many people look at this and go, oh, my God, did you see the Matrix game? Oh, my God, I can't believe it, right? And then the game, you're like, that is fucking stupid. How many times? We've lost count. Well, where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? Where is it?
40 series GPUs, and most consoles aren't running this tech either, but these developers are building for that ceiling anyway, letting performance slide for everybody else. Hardware companies are no better, selling us RTX hair, neural shaders, and frame gen to be able to band-aid over the fact that most of these games can't even hit stable frame rates, and it's just a snowball effect. Engines, hardware, publishers, all racing towards visuals that nobody asked for, while optimization, polish, and player experience is getting left in.
Look, you can see the fucking pores in their face. Great. Does it run? Great. She looks great. Can I play the game? Is it stable? Does it crash me onto the dashboard? Like, what are we doing?
In the dust. I think that we've hit a point where fidelity just doesn't need to improve. And honestly, I think it's starting to make a lot of these games look a lot less distinct. Just look at Unreal Engine 5 titles, especially these ones that are coming from the East. They're technically stunning, but they're all starting to blur together. Black Myth Wukong, Wu Chang Fallen Feather.
Yeah, I could show you a clip It would almost be like the game that we played a couple weeks ago. Is it real or is it fake? Is it AI or is it real? Right? Unreal Engine has got so many games that look similar. I could show you this or I could show you that, and you wouldn't be able to tell if it's this game or that game.
There's Phantom Blade Zero, different games, different studios, but visually they could all be cousins. Sure, some of that's going to be a cultural art direction, but I think there's an unmistakable sameness to Unreal Engine 5 that a lot of players are starting to pick up on. You can see the trailer and instantly know what engine it's running, and worse, two of those most hyped examples, Black Myth and Wu Chang, both performed like garbage at launch. I think the bigger issue with a lot of these tools is that it's almost forcing these developers to have to use them. When you're working with Unreal Engine 5, with Nanite, with Lumen, with MetaHuman, it's almost like you're being handed a Ferrari and told to drive the speed limit. The temptation is always there to push fidelity.
I'm getting PTSD by looking at a game like this. This is like my whole childhood with games like this, where you have platformers, side-scroller type of stuff. Oh, God, I used to get so aggravated with this stuff.
Even higher to chase those flashy tech demo moments, even though it's going to come at the expense of performance optimization, or most importantly, the actual experience of playing these games. Instead of asking, does this make our game better? These studios are asking, why shouldn't we use this? And that's how you burn years of...
I can't do it anymore. Water. I can't do side-scrollers, man. I get so... platforming side-scrolling, I get so... short attention span. I'm just like, I'm done.
Dev time, and
every game I played as a child was this.
Billions of dollars making fog particles and hyper-realistic skin shaders that nobody actually cares about the minute that they pick up a controller. And the truth is, I don't want to just single out Unreal Engine 5 because I don't even think this is engine specific. It's just a industry-wide disease, publishers and studios obsessing over how their games look while neglecting how they actually play. Souls-like clones, looter shooters, whatever trend they're chasing at the moment, the problem isn't just the repetition, it's the fact that these developers are burning time, money, and effort making sure that their games look marketable without ever stopping to ask whether their games are actually worth playing. And that's why I brought up that...
Right, marketable or is it playable?
Tim Sweeney quote earlier, because if these games are running poorly because of the development process, that same logic applies to why so many of these games are unfun. And I think one of the rare exceptions to that rule is Expedition 33. Yes, it leaned on current gen tech, but it was optimized well enough, and more importantly, it delivered on narrative, on mechanics, and on gameplay. They weren't seduced by the industry's obsession with must-play screenshots. They just built a game that people actually wanted to play. No, in most cases.
That's true too, Ray. Right? Like, a lot of them are not voice acted or anything like that. Just like one line. Thanks, Mario. You know what I mean? Like, you're done. Like, what did I just put 30 hours in for?
You need to actually play that game. And the funny thing is, I don't even need to use a AAA looking game to prove this point, because as I'm recording this, Hollow Knight Silksong is absolutely exploding. It's a 2D Metroidvania game made by 7 people where fidelity doesn't even enter into the conversation. It's about tight controls, hypnotic art direction, and a world that pulls you in. The same thing goes for some of the games that I play the most on Steam. Terraria, Abiotic Factor. I'm looking forward to trying out Darkest Dungeon and Undertale at some point. None of these games aim for realism, yet they stand out because they're unique, distinct, and fun as hell. And, you know,
developers forget to make a game. They make their vision visually, but they forget to actually make a game. Right? I'm gonna go back. I know Helldivers been out for a year and a half. Okay, I played it 70 hours, 75 hours when it first came out. Stopped playing. Now I'm playing a shit ton again. Right? I got another 60 hours in it. Okay, it's a fun game. It's just fun, right? There's games that are just fun to play, and that right there is a lost art in gaming. A lot of games come out and they look visually stunning, but they're just not fun to play. There's something about it.
You know what? Randomly, I played a demo for a game called Shroom and Gloom in one of my last videos, and my comment section was flooded with people asking me what that game was, despite the fact that I pinned it in the comment and people just ignored it. But nobody cared about the fidelity. They just cared because it looked fun. The most frustrating part of all of this is how much money is being set on fire and how many games we are probably losing out on as a result of that. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that's being poured into tech showcases, into systems that make trailers look pretty, but collapse the second you put them into the hand of players. Studios are treating visual fidelity like it's a centerpiece of the meal when in reality it's...
Like, look at Redfall. Redfall was sold on the visuals. So was Concord. Okay? Both of these games visually failed them. Because they're like, oh, that looks good. And then you play the game and you're like, eh.
just the garnish on the side. And when these projects flop, that bill doesn't just disappear. It's getting paid off in layoffs, studio shutdowns, and entire teams that get to watch their work get buried because leadership won't stop chasing screenshots. Audiences are not asking for this. Nobody is asking for this. Nobody is boycotting a game because puddle reflections aren't photorealistic. Nobody.
This is what we do when we make fun of some of our songs, right? People are complaining about certain games. They're like, oh, what was the game? Forza Motorsports. People were complaining, right? People were complaining that the grass textures were low quality. I'm like, who the fuck is complaining about that when you're going 200 miles an hour and the thing's going like this past you? Like, what? Like, who's pausing and going, oh, look at the textures of the grass? Get the fuck out of here, right? Is the game fun to play?
Is saying, I would have bought this game if the hair was ray traced, but these publishers keep convincing themselves that fidelity is the hook because it's something that they can show on a sizzle reel to be able to pitch to their investors as innovation. Meanwhile, the people that are actually buying and playing games, we just want something that runs smooth, plays well, and feels distinct. It's not just that fidelity doesn't matter. It feels like the pursuit of all of this is just actively rotting the foundation of this industry. Look, man, visuals age fast, but good game design does not. Fidelity has a shelf life. The tech demo everybody was raving about 5 years ago looks dated today, but the games that people actually come back to, the ones that actually have staying power, the ones that are actually remembered, they're being remembered because they're fun, because they run well, because there's something that's there that they offer that just feels timeless. Look at Minecraft, Terraria, Stardew Valley.
Heroic says, well, maybe they keep wrecking and flipping the car over, so that's just constantly looking at it. Maybe because they're pausing and looking, oh, look at that grass texture. I remember the one time we were playing Starfield. We were playing Starfield, and when you looked in the distance, you could see all like the trees and stuff like that. And then if you walked up to the tree was swaying in the wind, but it was, you know, the way they do theirs in Bethesda, it's like they're thin, you know what I mean? And the guy's like, oh, look at the trees, this game is garbage. And I'm like, are you judging a game? Now, obviously Starfield has its problems, but if you're complaining about the fucking trees, get a life. Okay, because the game is more than just trees in the distance, okay? It's the story, it's the gameplay, it's the mechanics, not a vector scope of a tree.
None of these games won people over with cutting-edge graphics. They won them over because, well, they're just good titles. They're great titles. They're great games to play. This obsession these guys have with chasing realism isn't just wasteful, it's disposable. Studios burn mountains of cash on fidelity that's outdated the moment the next graphic card cycle drops. They're mortgaging their futures on tech that doesn't hold any value while ignoring the fundamentals that could actually keep their games alive. And the players, we can see it. That's why so many of us have started drifting towards indie and AA titles instead, because those games might not be pretty in a AAA sense, but at least they're built to last. And I think that's the tragic irony in all of this, is that all this tech, all this power, all these tools, and instead of elevating games, all they've done is just driven the industry into a corner. Developers feel obligated to use every single shiny new feature. Publishers demand graphics that sell in screenshots, and the players, we're the ones left holding the bag with bigger installs, worse performance.
Oh, he jumped backwards, man. All you had to do is clap the wall.
It's in a shallower experience. It's not progress that we're seeing, it's just entropy. We're seeing a lot of wasted effort. We're pouring more and more in, and we're getting less and less out of it. Meanwhile, the games that people actually love, the games that are breaking through, aren't doing it with RTX reflections or billion triangle statues with tons of pixels inside of them. They're doing it because they have clarity of vision, strong design, and a respect for players' time. And that's why this whole conversation around fidelity and performance, I think it matters so much right now, is because if the industry keeps going down this road...
Yeah, sort of salty. Yeah, where they're chasing that 3D film experience, right? They're going down that trend.
Chasing tech instead of craft, they're not just going to see more broken launches, they're going to see the players just walk away altogether. I just don't understand what their expectations are. If you're going to continue to ramp up the power to...
Their expectations are, look, we made something pretty, now give us the money up front before we actually make the game. How many games are sold that way? Look at the day before. Now, obviously, they didn't take money up front, but they were selling you on visually what that game was and what your hope of what a open world type of game could be like that. Visually, right? Imagine if that game was 8 megapixels and there was the same mechanics, but it was like Project Zomboid, right? Project Zomboid is a zombie, open world zombie type of game It's probably one of the most realistic zombie games out there. But obviously, it's big within a small community, not big worldwide. They sold a shit ton of copies. It's a very good game, but a lot of people don't play it. Why? Because visually it doesn't look appealing. But mechanic-wise, people love playing that game because the mechanics in that game are so good as a survival zombie game.
Demands of a lot of these games, yet at the exact same time, the vast majority of your customers cannot afford to be able to have that hardware to be able to play some of these games. How are you supposed to make any money off of that? Do you realize the financial condition that a lot of people are in today? Look at the GPU market and how many of those things are being scalped and how high the prices on some of that stuff is. It's always funny when I see these companies lean into some of these features that are like 50 series GPU specific. What use is that going to do for the vast majority of people that are out there? Especially if you go and you look at some of the stats that are on Steam. Most people do not have these GPUs, and they probably aren't going to have them, or are likely just going to skip that generation entirely.
I had a 960. I missed the 1080s, 1070, 1080s. I missed the 2080s. Okay, I missed like 4 or 5 generations of graphic cards that came out. Okay. And then I'm not going to buy the next one, right? The next computer I got, if it comes with a 50 series or a 60 series or whatever, sure. But I'm not going out to upgrade to that.
And, you know, the consoles are in the same position as well. They're barely eking by with some of these games being able to have decent performance for people to be able to play them. And some of that falls on the hardware itself, but I think a lot of it falls on just the general ambition of some of these publishers and developers. You know, a theory that I have is that a lot of genuine talent has just left the games industry. And the only way that they know how to compete is on visuals now. And that's...
I mean, we've said that in the past as well. Yeah. The people that are in the industry were never in the industry. They were fans of the industry, got into the industry, and they're like, well, I got into visuals of this, and the visuals of this need to be better. But the game, they forgot the reason they got into the gaming industry originally, and that was because it was fun. It was fun, and there was good mechanics. This is why I always tell you, give it the smell test. And the smell test, obviously, in video games, you have to visually see it. But the smell test is knowing more about the actual game, right? When you do the smell test, you look at it and go visually. You're like, oh, okay, like what's the one that looks like Mass Effect? Exodus? No, not Exodus. The Expanse. The Expanse, right? The Expanse looks visually beautiful, right? But I need to know more about that game. I need to know more about the actual mechanics of the game, right? Because visually, it looks beautiful. It looks like Mass Effect. They compare it to Mass Effect. They want it to be compared to Mass Effect. People will defend it because they are Expanse fans. They like the Expanse, the show, and they like, well, this is automatically going to be, right? And they like the studio. Great. They've proven nothing to me based on what they've shown. I need to know more about that game. And when that game comes out and people start reviewing it, I'll go, all right, now it's good, right? If it's optimized well, if the mechanics actually seem good, or is it just a movie game? Is it just a very, whatever it is? Is it good? I need a smell test. I need to know more about the mechanics. When you show me something visually, I'm like, great, how's the game? But they never do that. They show slow cutscenes, slow walking through stuff.
That's one thing that they have in abundance because apparently...
I think it's called Owl Studios or something like that, Jones.
Artists are a lot more available than programmers or video game design visionaries that actually know how to make something of value. And the other part of it is, I hate to say it, it literally is just for investors because it's the one thing that they know that they're going to be able to understand. Look how high tech we are. Look how realistic our games are. Aren't we so high tech and so amazing?
Like, for instance, The Expanse. Let me say again something about The Expanse. The way I feel like someone pitched The Expanse as a video game was like, bro, The Expanse, the show is hot. What do we do? Well, what about if we make a game like Mass Effect? Because BioWare's kind of failing. What about if we make it just like Mass Effect, but with The Expanse? And that's it. That's where it ends. They're like, yep, that's it. Let's make that. Let's make the bare bone. Let's capitalize on what The Expanse is. Now, again, it could be a phenomenal game, but what I'm saying is the hope is built-in fan base. Check. Visually stunning. Check. Okay? we can capitalize on it and let's put it out there because there's a gap missing of this type of stuff, the RPG space in space. Check, right? Now you get the game and you're like, oh, it could have been Mass Effect, but it fell short. And then people will be like, well, it's not Mass Effect. Right, but they wanted to be Mass Effect, hence why they did exactly what they did.
Don't you want to invest in us? And then these guys buy into it. They just go ahead and invest in it. We've become an afterthought. That's really what this comes down to. And I'm glad to see some publishers waking up to it and realizing what the issue is. But I think that by and large, a lot of these guys, they're going to have a hard time coming off the sauce because it's the only thing that they know at this point. And, you know, it's really alarming when you sit back and you listen to some of these more like deep dives or directs where these guys start talking about their game that they have coming up. And you listen to see how much of it is talking about just how the game looks rather than how the game actually plays.
Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye is another perfect example of what he just said. How does it look? Then you actually play it and you're like, ugh.
I remember when they were doing Assassin's Creed Shadows, I think they spent a good 5 to 10 minutes just talking about how the game could change seasons.
Yeah. Visually stunning.
Come on, man. You know, it's funny when I look at some of the more high fidelity, really beautiful games that are out there. In a lot of cases, I've been noticing these guys have been using, I'm sorry, the successful ones. I need to clarify the successful high fidelity games that we've seen, which honestly, there aren't very many. The ones that I have seen that have done well, that have also retained players because they performed well on a large set of hardware. Best example I could probably use is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That game was absolutely gorgeous and could run on a potato. Insane what they did with that game. But in a lot of cases, I'm seeing these guys use either their own in-house engine or they've taken an older engine and repurposed it for their own use, customizing it.
Right, basically what Helldivers did, right? Helldivers took an engine that was not even used anymore and customized it for what they needed to do with their game.
For what they plan to do with it. And I think that there's a huge difference in that, where with Unreal Engine 5, you're just getting this like pre-baked thing that's supposed to do everything. And
we talked about this years ago about Epic and Unreal, how everything kind of just looks the same. Now, people can use it in different ways, but they go with the default.
It's supposed to be an industry standard, or at least they're trying to make it one, where in the past, a lot of these guys would either create their own engine or retool one. And because of that, they're tinkering with it and designing it specifically for what they're trying to do with their games, not necessarily how they're trying to get their games to look. And there's a complete difference in vision with that. But I hope things change. I hope that people see more of this. I hope that, you know, if you...
Unfortunately, it won't change. It won't change because people are attracted to things that are good looking. This is what it is. Okay? You could have a person that is gorgeous looking and shitty personality. You could have a beautiful product and yet it tastes like shit. Okay? Movies could beautifully look like it's great, but the story is absolute garbage, right? Visuals are just a data point within the thing, right? We all are human. We all look at things and go, that's good looking, that's not good looking. I'm attracted to that thing, right? Even to the simplistic thing of television sets. You look at two television sets next to each other. They both do the exact same thing, but one's sharper than the other. One looks better to you than the other, okay? And you choose the better one for you, right? A spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend. You look at them and go, I'm attracted to that person, whatever it is. But then you get to know that person, and you're like, I chose poorly, okay? I chose poorly. Because it's not about just looks, but we are attracted to looks. For everything.
Seeing a company like EA waking up to it, hopefully some of the bigger publishers take notice of it as well, but chances are we probably won't.
9 times out of 10 when someone looks at a piece of food, you look at the food, and you're like, man, that looks fucking delicious. Right? The pictures look amazing. You eat the food, you're like, God damn, it sucked.
Let's just be happy that we get one win, I guess. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Tell me about your worst video game performance experience. I'm down to hear it. Outside of that, that's all I got for the video. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Catch me live on Fridays today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
So there you go. Check out his link is in the description down below. Another good video. Give it a like. Give it a like. Just to show you, right? Like right now we have 19 people watching, 14 likes. He's got 255,000 views and 19,000 likes. That's how many people don't give a shit about hitting the like button or dislike button. They're like, I don't care. I don't care. So there you go. There might not be an afternoon stream today. There might be. I got to make a phone call because I have electricians coming today to look at my bathroom because it got shorted out. So they're coming in, but I don't know what time they're coming. So I'm gonna see if they're coming in the next 2 hours or so. If not, then well, if they are, then there's no afternoon stream with Mr. Luke today. If they're not, then I will go live. So I got to make a phone call or stuff. Keep a lookout on 30 and Still Gaming. If I'm going live, I'll post something or schedule a stream. Appreciate it. That is going to be the end of today's show, The Daily Grind. I appreciate you very much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Make sure you're still subscribed because I know YouTube is unsubscribing people. So make sure you're still subscribed. Thank you very much for coming out and watching. Make sure you go check out our album, Perk Up and Press Play. You can stream all our songs. We have singles. We have an album up there on all the major platforms. All the links are in the description down below. Appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty tuned in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Come on in, your morning